So my Magic Keyboard for my iPad showed up. Pretty excited about this as I've been using a lot of lackluster keyboards over the last while. Actually, not too bad. This is the Zag Slim Folio Go. This isn't too bad. This is the Bridge Pro. This isn't great. Normal iPad, normal Apple keyboard. This is an old Zag one that I really liked. So I've been kind of bouncing around between all these different keyboards, trying to figure out, what should I be looking for when I take this thing apart. The thing that seems really silly to me is how much this thing costs. Like, this is brutal. Here we go. Pew. Oh, it was such a weak thing. Made me a little sad. And I'm excited to use this keyboard. Not excited to use, I'm not unfamiliar with using a keyboard and a mouse with an iPad, but I want to see what Apple's done because, again, all these other products, not great. They hadn't figured it out. Oh. Hi, hello. You can tell that this keyboard's tied to this iPad right now. This is Apple's keyboard. It's got a very similar feel, which makes sense. But what happens if we slap an iPad into it? How is this, as a writing utility? Oh man. Tiny trackpad. The question, I guess, is, will it work with a screen protector? Does it close well with a screen protector? Holy crap, that's so heavy. It feels solid though, even with the screen protector on, there's not a lot of give. With a lot of these, with the Apple Smart Keyboard, you can kind of feel there's a bit of a flex in the unit. I opened it up upside down. This tiny trackpad, I think it's gonna take some getting used to. It's so tiny, especially when this is the normal Magic trackpad. The laptop ones are a little smaller. And so going back to this really tiny thing, so this tiny trackpad really reminds me of laptops from the early 2000s. I remember my first field laptop had this tiny trackpad. And remember I think the Lenovo's or the IBM's, old IBM's used to have that little nubby in the middle of this keyboard that you would go, okay, Monty, just go, get out of here. You don't want to be here, go, get. That was the mouse thing, which is kind of annoying. So this is really reminiscent of that. I don't even know why anybody would get this, the Smart Keyboard compared to this, other than the price perspective, especially when it comes to this gigantic iPad. With the smaller iPad, you can get away with it, I think, because that smaller iPad, it feels completely different to me in terms of a work machine. And I only say that because the keyboards themselves are much smaller, right? So I never feel the need to actually try to use a mouse pad, but I found myself with the Zag, especially with this Bridge Pro, is that I would start typing. I was like, oh, I need to move the cursor somewhere, and I'd end up doing this, and nothing shows up. Now I am still waiting for the Bridge Pro to show up. I got a notification that it shipped weeks ago. I don't actually know if it did, so I'm gonna have to contact them. But this just now seems like a bad alternative to this Magic Keyboard. The other thing I like about this is that I don't have to charge the keyboard, right? With this Zag Slim Folio Go thing, you've got one port for the keyboard, you've got another port for the iPad, and so you've got kind of all these things kind of jutting out. But with this, it should charge, from what I understand, through this USB-C port, which is awesome. That's so great. So that's all I got for this video. Pretty quick, not too long. That's missing the nubbin. I will be doing iPad Pro keyboard comparisons in the coming months. Another sub-series in the isolation video series. First time watching one of my videos, I do encourage you to click subscribe. Monty and I base all our videos on actual usage, and I'm excited to really just crank out some content with this product. I've been leaning more towards going with an eGPU and a Mac Mini for my next computer rather than buying a full-on MacBook Pro because I don't think I need it. I'm really excited. I think this year is probably the product I am most excited about when it comes to Apple stuff. But anyways, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. I think my biggest my biggest annoyance with like a product like the Zag is that it's this size. And so this feels like a laptop from like the early 2000s. Like it's got that really boxy size. I don't even know where I'm going with this. What was I going to say?